All right, movement prep for January 2026. This one is slightly different. So the first four movements are always going to be exactly the same, and I'm going to show you those first. And then the last two listed are always going to be directly related to the strength lifts that they're doing. So for instance, if it is an overhead position, they're going to be overhead movement prep. If it is a hinge, such as a deadlift, that's going to be hip related. Squats, going to be hip and knees. Chest is going to be pec, push-ups, things like that. So you're always going to see something slightly different listed for the last two. So I'm going to try to show you guys as many of those as possible as well. So for the first four, they're going to start with knee hug breaths. And they have 5 breaths here in our seated knee hug position. So you can encourage people to get a yoga block if needed, if they have trouble sitting on the floor and hugging their knees. They can have a seat on a yoga block. And they're going to want to hug their knees nice and tight. Okay? On the inhale, they're going to look up. And on the exhale, they're going to round out, spread that space between the shoulders. Really try to tuck the chin under. So in real time. 5 knee hug breaths. The next one is going to be some lateral spine flexion. So they can either sit crisscross applesauce, they can sit in their straddle. If they need some other options, they could sit on a bench. That would be another option as well. And we're going laterally, so that means our right elbow is going to reach down for the right floor, reach across, and then we're going to switch sides. Tell them to breathe through that side as they reach. Eyes go up towards the hand to keep the neck as neutral as possible. They have 10 from side to side there. Then they're going to get into their arm bar. So the arm bar starts in the fetal position, and the goal is to get your shoulders stacked and your hips stacked. So I'm going to show you facing away from the camera first so you can see the hold position. And you want them to use, especially as they get good at the arm bar and they're familiar, you want them to use something heavy enough that's going to pack their shoulder. Okay, so fetal position, roll to their back, both hands, situate that bell up over the chest. The opposite arm and leg are going to reach really long on the floor. This is key before they get to the roll over position, because then you can make adjustments. So have them reach overhead and then reach that leg so they're in one straight line. From there, they're going to use that bent leg to push their body over onto the side. Their head is in front of that arm on the floor, and then their knee, although you can't see it very well, is up by their belly button. Okay, from here, palm should be facing the same direction you're facing. So you can see my fingernails from the camera view. Knuckles straight up to the sky, so wrist is locked out. And we're just trying to be really still here with our shoulder as much as possible. Couple breaths. Shoulders should be stacked, one up over top the other. Hips stacked. And then they would roll back to their back. Both hands to the bell to reach back to the other side. They're going to do one of those on each side. Then they're going to come up to kneeling. So we're going to do some hip hamstring adductor stretches. So the first one being our hip flexor. So half kneeling position, pushing the hips forward, right? Their hand can go on their knee, their hands can go on their hips. And they're going to rock back and forth, really trying to stretch out that hip flexor, stretch out the quad. 5 here in this direction. And then they're going to sit back and get a hamstring stretch. So sit back, that leg that was once bent is now straight. Come forward, sit back. And they have 5 here. Okay, and then the last position before they switch legs is going to be out to the side for adductor stretch. Toes, knees, hips face forward. Sit back, chest towards the floor, nice flat back. 5 here. So those are the first 4. Those are the ones that you're going to repeat every single class. For the deadlift day, you're going to do a seated good morning, and then they're going to do some hike passes with dead stop swings. So the seated good morning can be done with a barbell, could be done body weight, could also be done with a PVC pipe. PVC probably is going to work for most. And you're going to have them sit up nice and tall, making sure they're sitting on their sit bones. So we don't want them sitting back here on their tailbone. Sit up on those sit bones, almost like they're like trying to push their butt to that wall behind them. And then we're trying to flex forward as far as we can with a nice flat back and come back up. Feet should be nice and wide, hinging at the hips. Okay, 10 seated good mornings. Then the kettlebell hikes. That's actually the first step of our swing, and really great to practice because you see a lot of people will start their swing directly up over top of that bell, and they'll start with like lifting up with their arms. So we want to take a big step back so that bell's in front of us, creating a triangle with our feet in the bell. I like to use my karate chop hands to take them right to the hip, cueing me to push my hip back, reach arms forward, tip that bell up on its edge, and then pull those shoulders down. So I am fully engaged here at the bottom of my swing, and from here I could do 5 hikes. After they've done 5, they're doing dead stop swing. So 1 kettlebell swing at a time. All right, take your time, teach them well so that they can continue to repeat this workout or this movement prep. Then let's go to the squat. When you guys are doing squats, they're going to be doing prying goblet squats as part of their movement prep. So bell up at the chest. They're going to come down to the bottom of their squat. Elbows go between the knees, and then we push the knees open. Re-engage, stand up. Push those knees open. A lot of times you'll just see people squat and touch their elbows to the knees. The pry is the important piece. So our elbows start in, and then we drive them out to drive those knees and hips open. And then goblet march. So bell up at their chest, right here for 60 seconds, knees up nice and high, elbows tucked in for a good 2-hand rack position. Those are your squat movement preps. Let's see, moving on to shoulders. So prone swimmers, prone is on the floor. They can go forehead to yoga block, forehead to the floor. Their choice. Okay, here in this position, the yoga block's going to make it more challenging to engage their core, a little bit more to reach up, swim all the way back around, up the back, and down. Okay, 5 prone swimmers. And then the next one's band pull apart, so they're going to need bands for their shoulders. Tension on the band the entire time. They're going to pull straight across their chest. 10 here, squeeze those shoulder blades together. 10 at a diagonal, so take the right hand up, left hand down. Try to prevent them from doing this. Okay, we want tension on that band and in control on the way back in. And then obviously 10 to the other diagonal. And then last but not least, you have your movement prep for your chest press day or your bench press. And that one's going to be a pec stretch. So grabbing an upright, palm against the upright, and then turning away so that we're getting that stretch here in the front. about 30 seconds on one side, switch 30 seconds on the other. And the second one is holding their pup. So cue them to hold their push-up plank position for about 30 seconds. And when they're done, they're going to give you 70% of their push-ups. So for instance, if they can do 10 push-ups, they're going to do 7. 70% should not feel challenging. They should be all good reps. Gives you a chance as a coach to walk around, look for engagement in their legs, look for engagement in their core, their abs, and their glutes, and then also to the shoulders, right? One of my things I've been noticing a lot lately is people will start up in their push-up, and the first thing they do is they lose their shoulders. So they'll do this, right? We notice that a lot. Usually comes even with the head working against it. So make sure their shoulders stay engaged and they bend at the elbows and bring their chest towards the floor. Nice long neck throughout.